Welcome to Enlightened, the enlightened journey of life. I am your host, Jen Hamilton, and it is an honor to have you here. I am a conscious life coach and women's empowerment mentor, and I activate a potent level of self and soul inquiry with my clients, which initiates deep and lasting transformation in all areas of their lives. I am here for the full human experience, authentically and audaciously sharing my magic with the world. On this podcast, we're all about mastering life on the way to enlightenment. And as we are here having a human experience, we might as well embrace it all. We play in the space of what is real and tangible, just as much as we play in the space of esoteric and metaphysical. You'll be ignited by deep conversation, whether through my own personal musings, interviews with incredible thought leaders around the world, and everyday divine humans sharing their soulful stories. Thank you for being on this journey. Let's dive in. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of the Enlightened podcast. I am your host, Jen Hamilton, and I'm going to talk to you today about one of my most favorite things in the whole wide world, which is ceremonial cacao. So if you haven't heard of ceremonial cacao, first of all, where on earth have you been? Second of all, it is the most purest form of chocolate available. So it's directly from the cacao bean. So if you've ever had chocolate before, it's probably the extremely bastardized version of cacao. And I have a little obsession with ceremonial cacao because not only is it like heart opening and soul nourishing, but it actually has the spirit of mama cacao in it. And when I talk about a spirit, I'm not talking about a ghost or an actual entity itself, but everything, when you understand that everything is energy, everything is frequency, you start to understand that everything essentially has a spirit. Everything that's sentient has a spirit. And so when we talk about mama cacao, just the incredible beauty and nourishment that cacao or ceremonial cacao has, you'll start to understand why so many people are, almost addicted to it. So being ceremonial cacao, it's the highest grade, highest vibration, most energy intense cacao on the planet. So it's the pure, organic, whole bean that we're talking about. So nothing added, nothing taken away. And it's actually, so from the bean itself, it's then ground down and then formed into a paste. And then that paste comes in a block, and then you just chop off what you need from the block. And there's many different ways that you can have it. You can have it straight up, which to me is pretty hardcore. I certainly don't have it straight up. It has a very bitter taste to it. So if you are mixing it just with hot water, then first of all, congratulations, because you're a lot stronger than me. But you can have it with, I put like a date in. I use plant milk with it, so I usually put a bit of coconut milk in it or some coconut cream, and I also use some different types of medicinal mushrooms. So I use the Super Feast range, and I use chi, jing, reishi, mason's mushrooms, and another one that's not on the top of my brain right now. And I make it all nicely blended up, and it's just like a beautiful hot chocolate every day. So I wanted to touch on that because one of the things that I do is I host goddess retreats with a beautiful soul sister named Ash. So depending on when you're listening to this, we have one coming up on the 4th of December, 2022, but there will absolutely be more next year. Plus I also host cacao ceremonies and women's circles. I even make cacao for my clients that come in as well. But I wanted to speak into the effects of it and why it's so good for you. And you can start to understand probably why I'm a little obsessed with it. So the effects of ceremonial cacao include sustained energy lasting up to 4 to 5 hours, the ability to hold a strong multidimensional focus. It is so heart-opening, which is great for inner work and releasing emotional blockages. It can increase the feeling of connection to greater consciousness. It can help you deepen the spiritual and creative practices such as yoga, meditation, shamanic journeying, writing, dancing, music, lucid dreaming. It also has antidepressant properties. So it's actually the only food to release therapeutic levels of the feel-good brain chemicals such as serotonin, endorphins, and dopamine. It increases blood flow to the brain and the digestive system by up to 40%. It also helps to increase libido and is a liver detoxifier. So, like, if you're not sold already, I don't know what's going on with you. But as far as the nutritional info, so the cacao is the most nutrients dense food sources on the planet. It's incredibly rich in vitamins and minerals that are crucial to optimal physical function of the body and the mind. It's also a nootropic as well. So like I said, it is one of the most nutritionally dense foods. Like if you thought like kale was a superfood, I mean, step aside kale, we have got ceremonial cacao coming in. So if you're into macros, so it is 18% carbohydrate, 72% fat, and 4% protein. As far as mineral goes, it's got magnesium, calcium, iron, zinc, copper, potassium, manganese, as well as vitamins A, B1, B2, B3, and C. So it has really high concentration of antioxidant molecules, so mainly flavonoids. And they enter the brain and can induce a stimulation in regions involved in learning and memory. Okay, so not only is it good for your body, but it's actually good for your brain. It's good for your soul. It's absolutely heart opening. It can really support you, like I said, with yoga, with meditation, when you sit down to do, any inner work as well. So it's also a nootropic. So a nootropic is a natural plant that increases neurological function, productivity, intelligence, creative memory, and focus. I mean, that's just why I'm so intelligent, right? And it's funny because civilizations have been using them for many thousands of years. It's also said to believe that back in the days of the Aztecs and Mayans, that it was only the women that were allowed to touch the cacao because of how sacred it was. So it has serotonin, it has theobromine, it has anandamide in it. So there's so many ways in which you can just feel so blissful by drinking this. So of course there are going to be some contraindications as well, which I do want to mention. So even though it is a superfood and it is packed full of vitamin and in minerals, there are different dosages that you can have. Okay, so if pregnant, it is safe in a lower dose. However, it's always advised to seek clearance from your medical practitioner prior to consuming. It is not recommended though for someone who suffers seizures, psychosis, epilepsy, high blood pressure, heart disease, arrhythmias, or taking medication for depression, anxiety, psychosis, or schizophrenia. So as always, consult with your healthcare professional prior to consumption if you're affected by any of those things or if you have any concerns. As you're probably aware now, I am not a doctor, so I can't give you any sort of medical advice. So if you do have any of those contraindications and you do want to know whether it can you can have it and if it's going to be supportive for you, then definitely head back to your medical provider and have a chat to them. What I wanted to touch on was that, there are quite a number of, different forms out there. So as I mentioned, the ceremonial grade cacao is in the form of a paste, which comes in a block. So it's actually made by fermenting and lightly toasting the beans, then hand peeling the husk, followed by stone grinding it down to a paste, then being set into a block. And it is the one with the health benefits. And it can make you feel blissful, inspired, connected to yourself, connected to the earth and others that you're in ceremony with. It also can enhance your intuition and open your heart chakra. It'll boost your mood, expand your state of consciousness. And even though it's not a psychedelic, it's still classed as a plant medicine and it can give you subtle euphoric feelings. Now, you might be wondering, hang on, but I've seen powdered cacao before. So although you can get powdered cacao organic, usually from the health food store, it has been processed to commercial standards, which removes all of the bean's natural fat, which is the cacao butter. So many of the living enzymes, healthy fats, and most of the subtle energetic properties of cacao have been destroyed in the process. It still contains the health benefits of antioxidants as well as magnesium and potassium. It doesn't have essentially like that spiritual aspect that goes with the ceremonial cacao because of how processed it's been. Now, cacao is very different from cocoa. So you might be thinking, hang on a second, I've had hot cocoa before. Is that what you're on about? Because I haven't felt all of these things having a cup of cocoa. So often, the two words are very, very close and it's often confused with cacao. But cocoa comes in a powdered form and has been roasted for long periods at very high temperatures, causing change in the molecular structure of the bean and lowering its natural abundant nutritional value. It's often mixed with sugar in a tin to create a commercial style hot chocolate, however, provides minimal nutrition. So I hope that clears up what the difference is between all of them. I actually have ceremonial cacao. So my favorite one of all time ever is Sacred Earth Medicine, which is produced in Byron Bay here in Australia. I actually sell it through my website. So my website is jenhamilton.coach. So you can find more of this information that I've just mentioned on my website. Plus you can purchase it as well. So it does come in 200 gram blocks and 400 gram blocks, or you can buy it in a 5 kilo box as well. So if you ever come to any of my events, so like I said, I've got an upcoming retreat shortly. I also host actual cacao ceremonies where we use cacao combined with a beautiful breath work and meditation to really take you on a journey. Or if you're coming in to see me for in-person sessions for coaching, then we also sit down and have a cacao as well. So now you know all about it. I will be sharing a little bit more about another beautiful modality that we'll be doing at our retreats as well. So our goddess retreats with my beautiful soul sister Ash. So we'll also be doing breath work and ice baths. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who have been very curious about what ice baths are and why do we have them. So I am so excited to share more about that in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you've got any more questions or anything about ceremonial cacao, like I said, jump onto my personal website, which is jenhamilton.coach, and head to the cacao page. And if you'd like to purchase some, feel free to do so on there. And I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I hope you love the Enliven podcast, and the biggest compliment you can give me is subscribing to this podcast, sharing it, and leaving a rating and review. Feel free to follow me on Instagram. My handle is @JenHamiltonOfficial, and the podcast handle is Enlightened_podcast. You can also find the video version on YouTube on my channel. Just search Enlightened and don't forget to hit subscribe. Have a beautiful day and enjoy living the enlightened journey of life.